Okay, we're gonna do a Western letter. Now, a Western letter is, when we get a customer, the first thing not the first thing, but one of the first things that happens is we know that certain businesses fall into certain categories. And as soon as we know that they can be a themed type of business, a toy store obviously calls for a bouncy, cartoony kind of fun type of alphabet. An attorney at law, because of its nature, generally requires a Roman alphabet, a dignified alphabet. So certain businesses, just by their nature, allow for a certain type of letter. And I'm going to do one that this place is called Cowboy Boots. It's going to be like Bubba's Cowboy Boots or Cowboy Boot Store.
I like this one.
So I'm going to draw an obvious Western letter. It's a very simple letter based on the Phoenix alphabet. It's based on the Phoenix. So I'm going to get started and we're going to show you how to do this. Carlos, are you going to look at this, or can you turn this so I can see this?
Yeah.
I'll be what happened to the yardstick that was here?
Right there.
Oh.
Right there. Or I could put it off so you could.
Yeah, that's good. All right. I'll be able to see what I'm doing. All right. The first thing I'm going to do is, as Carlos, let's say this is the sign. Let's say this whole board is the sign. I'm going to make my margins. I'm going to make my top margin and I'm going to make my bottom margin. It's going to be slightly greater than my top margin. Then I'm going to make my side margins that are basically, visually compatible with that. I like to come in a little more on the sides. So this is about a 5 margin, and this is a 5-inch side margin. I'm going to put those in. Now, if I want you to see, I'm laying this out directly on the wall at the business. I'm not making any pattern.
So you're talking
about directly on the wall without a pattern. I'm going to pull my lines.
Hey Doc, quick question, Justin here.
Yes.
That's basically you're using like your Stabilo right now.
No, on a wall I'd be using chalk.
Oh, okay, wow. Okay.
On a stucco wall, no, Stabilo won't come off.
Okay.
Carlos, would you see behind the door if there's a 4-foot yardstick? Yeah.
Would a Stabilo come off on like windows and everything else?
Yeah. Stabilos are good for hard surfaces like windows, metal, truck doors, aluminum.
Okay.
MDO.
Aluminum.
Aluminum.
Can someone explain to me what a Stabilo is?
Yeah, it's a grease pencil. It's a special grease pencil that sign painters use to lay out their signs.
So
4 colors.
We use white and blue. White on a dark surface, blue. There wasn't
This is all I see right now.
yeah, I have a white and a black, John.
Yeah, I never heard of a 4-foot yardstick, Doc.
I've used like a Nissan.
Well, it's obviously not correct, but he knew what I needed.
Damn, that's a big T-square.
I'm trying to make these dark enough where you can see this. If I'm working on the on the wall or doing any direct layout, I do not want to draw dark. I want to draw as light as I can to see what I'm doing, okay? So I'm going to indicate now my copy blocks, as Carlos likes to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to do my the word cowboy boots. The word's cowboy boots. But I know that after he's got a list of things like all sizes, all styles, and then he's going to have some subcopy that says custom made orders. So I'm going to organize those in panels at the end. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to come in, I'm going to kind of put in my block for my panel. That's going to say that, and I'm just roughing it in. This is what Carlos does too. I'm doing this light. Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
Not really.
I'll do it a little darker. I can see that.
Yes.
All right, I'll do the other one. Now, this, so as not to confuse you, margins are defined by where copy starts and where copy ends. So I should get this, if I do this, then my margin is now becoming this. Does everybody see that?
Yes.
Theoretically, I should have something here if that's, I'm calling that my margin. And so I am going to erase this. I think they're a little too close. I'm going to go out to my margin. And I know I'm going to put some kind of panel here. So I'm going to come into about here. And I'm not going to measure on the job. I wouldn't measure. I just visually say about here. That's my two panels. Now I'm going to put in my copy blocks. What has to go here? Obviously the name. We're going to put Bubba's somewhere in here. So that's my copy block for Bubba's. And then I'm going to put cowboy boots in this area. And this is my main copy block or my emphasis copy block. And because cowboy boots is long, let's see. Yeah, I'll go ahead and try to get it on one line. Now, always step back. Do not look at your layout from here. Step back and look at it from a distance. So I'm going to step back and take a look at it. Yeah, I like that. And then it's going to have some more information down here in another copy block like that. So I'm starting with my copy blocks first. Everybody understand?
Yes.
Yes.
So let's do
Yes.
cowboy boots on this line. This is a simple way. Again, I'm reminding you, this is a Phoenix type letter. Everything is vertical. Everything is the same. All the normal letters are the same. So what I need to do is I need to go from here to here. Everybody see that?
Yes.
That's the total distance for the words cowboy boots. So I'm going to count the number of letters that I need to get in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for the space, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have 12 letters. One of them is a wide letter. The rest are all normal. So what's my next step? I would measure this. That's 36 and 18. That's 54. Is that right? 18 and 36.
Yes.
Hello?
54.
54.
How's it going?
Okay, and I have 12 letters. So theoretically, each letter.
I'm in a class right now. But yeah, as soon as I'm done, I'll give you a call.
Your mic.
Bugs, mute. Bugs, mute.
Oh, sorry, Doc. I thought I was sorry.
All right, I have 12 letters into 54. That's about 8 inches apiece because 8 times 12 is 48, right? And I have to have a little bit of line spacing and I have to have, oh, we already got the word spacing. So I'm going to start out at 8 inches. Is everybody with me so far with the math?
Yes.
Yeah.
12
Yes.
into 54 inches. If I make them 8, that's 48. That'll give me some space between letters. So I'm going to make a guess. I'm going to make 8 and a 1 inch space. 8 and a 1 inch space. I'm going to go, this is CO. Now the W can't be 8, it's got to be more like 10, right? In a 1 inch space. 8, something's wrong with the math here because we're not even going to get cowboy on here.
Doc, it's 4.5. 54 divided by 12 is 4.5.
I'm
Four,
sorry,
yeah.
4.5. Yeah, something sounded crazy there. You guys need to listen and pay attention and correct me. So it's, what'd you say, 4.5?
Yeah, 4.5.
Okay, so we're gonna go 4.5 an inch space for the C. I'm gonna put a C. We'll put a no. 4.5 and an inch space. Now the W is a wide letter, so I'm gonna make it pretty wide, like about 6.5 or 7. That's my
You
W.
probably want to do 4 and leave the 1/2 inch for your spacing.
Well,
Right?
yeah, thank you, but I wanna do this wrong a couple of times to make a point.
Oh, okay, okay.
That's my W, then my B is 4.5 inch space. O, 4.5 inch space. Y, I'm gonna make that a little wider. And then I have 4.5 for my word space. Now I gotta get boots in here, it ain't gonna happen. So you see what everybody see what I'm doing here?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm making guesses. So 4.5 did not work. So we're gonna go to 4. I'm gonna put my normal letter is 4 and my W, I'm gonna make 6.5. So I'm gonna do 4, an inch space, that's C. 4, that's O. My
Doc,
W,
didn't you just do 4 and 6.5?
I did 6.5 for my W because it's not a normal letter, it's wide.
Now we see that don't work, so we got to go thinner, right?
No.
He went a 1/2 inch thinner.
Yeah, so we're gonna go to 6.5, then we're gonna go to 4 for our B. This is our W. It looks a little wide, but that's all right. I know I'm gonna have trouble with it. I'm gonna go have an inch space. I'm gonna have 4 inches. And this is our,
Professor,
Oh.
shouldn't we add 4 3/4 for the Y?
I'm sorry, what?
Shouldn't we add 4 3/4 for the Y? Since it's not a normal letter?
Yeah, good point. So let's make it 4 3/4, right? Oh, I'm sorry. That's the O. Now, I'm not putting an inch between the O and the Y or between the W's because there's those diagonals with negative space. So I'm not putting a full inch. So how wide is the Y, 4 3/4? Yes?
4 3/4 for the Y, yes.
All right, COWBOY. Now I'm going to work backwards here. And I'm going to do the S, that's 4 inch space. And because the T has lots of negative space, I'm only going to put a 1/2 inch space and 4 for my T. And again, a 1/2 inch space. And then I'm going to put 4 and an inch. This is an O. I'm going to put 4 and an inch, and this is an O. I'm going to put 4, and this is my B. This is the end of my Y, and this is the start of my B. I don't have any word spacing. Can everybody see that? I'm sorry, can you see that? It's too
Yes.
narrow.
Yes, because my next question is what is that 3 words? But keep going.
So that's too narrow. So what do I need to do?
You need to add,
Make your normal letter spacing.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this at 4, but I'm going to cut down my space between my letters. Instead of an inch, I'm going to go to 3/4 of an inch, okay?
Professor,
Everybody understand what I'm doing?
Yes. Yeah, it's awesome.
I'm going to adjust the
You're
spacing.
adjusting the letters.
I'm adjusting the spacing here. So I'm going to do C. Instead of 1 inch, I'm going to go to 3/4. I'm going to do 4 inch for my O. And I'm going to have very little space because of the negative space on my W. What did I make my W last time? I can't remember. Oh, 6.5. That's why I wrote it down. This is my W. It's got negative space, so I want my B right up against it, and that is 4, but this time with a 3/4 inch space. That's B. 4-inch O. 3/4 inch space. And 4-inch, 4.5 inch wide, right?
4.5 or 4 3/4?
Well, let's do 4.5. Okay, I'm going to cheat a little on that. So this is my Y. Now let's go back over here. Let me erase this.
Okay, I have a question. I believe it's on track with everything. So I just want to get this clear. So it's the wall size divided by the word
It is
letter amount.
not the wall size, it's your letter block.
Heard. That's what I meant. Heard.
Your letter block divided by the number of letters, including the space.
Perfect. Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. All right, that's good. Always ask the question. So here's the end of my Y. Now I'm going to come back and we're going to do the S, which is 4 and a 3/4 space. Now I'm not going to have a 3/4 space because the T has all that negative space. So I'm going to make that about a 1/2 inch. And I'm going to make that 4. That's my T. And again, a very narrow space because of negative. And I'm going to go to O, that's 4 and 3/4. Well, that's 4 and 3/4. That's my other O. And that's 4. So this is still a little tight, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. Okay. Now, what I can do if I really wanted to go get a wider space here, I can move these out on this sign. Can you understand that? This is not the edge of the sign, it's in the middle of the sign, so I can move that around.
Yes.
Got it?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so I'm close enough where time-wise I want to keep going here. So I am going to, I'm going to put in all my verticals now. Hold on just a minute. Let me.
Professor, I think you already answered this question, but I want to understand, how did you decide how much space you were going to leave on the side besides the 5 inches?
You mean over here?
Yes.
I know I'm going to put a panel in. I have to have a big enough panel to put some copy in.
Not mechanically.
I did it visually. Let's see how it looks mechanically. That's 20 inches. And that's 21 inches. I was off an inch.
So it's just kind of like visualizing it, not measuring
Yeah,
it?
I'm used to visualizing, but you could have put a center line, right?
Okay.
And you could have, if this is 54, you could have put 27 on this side, 27 on this side, and you'd be visually centered. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Put a center line, or from the edge of your sign, put a center line. Okay, so now what I'm going to do
Say
is,
again, Doc, I missed that.
if you want this to be centered, you put a center line on your sign blank. Half of this whole thing is your center line, right?
Yes, sir.
Or half of your copy block, which is 54. You want to just find the half of this, you put a center line at 27. And then you measure 27 this way, 27 this way, and it'll be centered.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in my vertical stroke. Wait, here's what I'm going to do the tops first. This Western letter has a heavy top and a heavy bottom. So I'm going to go to, let's see. I'm visualizing, I'm going to do 1, 2, I'm going to go to 3.5 inches. That's 3.5, oops, that's 3.
And that's how tall the letters are going to be?
This is how tall the letters are going to be. The letters are going to be 12 inches tall.
Okay.
Now you'll see what I'm going to do here. I'm going to pull these lines for the Western letter. I'm going to go all the way across. Just move this. I'm going to go all the way across my copy block, 3.5 inches down from the top guideline and 3.5 inches up from the bottom guideline. Okay, we good? I'm going to put in my C.
That's more better.
I'm going to put in my O. I'm going to put in my W, and I'm only going to do the top of the W. I'm going to put in my B. I'm going to put in my O. And I'm going to put in my Y, and I'm only going to do the top. And here's my space. I'm going to put in my B for boot. I'm going to put in my O. I'm going to put in my second O.
It's Justin. You're just blocking the letters in, right? Like that belt, the blocks around the letters.
Yeah, he's making individual letter copy block.
Right.
I'm making blocks, putting in the verticals. Remember, it's a phoenix, straight sides, right?
Yes.
Yes, we're just gonna be, yeah.
Okay, now that I have, these are so-called bars, right? I need to put in my vertical stems. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 3/4 of an inch for my vertical stem. So I'm going to come in about 3/4 of an inch from the edge of my letter. And I'm going to put in a stem. And I'm going to make these about 3/4 of an inch. Everybody see that? These are vertical stems. Because this is, oh, I'm sorry, this is a C. I did that wrong. I was thinking that was a B. This goes on the outside. 3/4 of an inch, and I'm just going to eyeball the 3/4 for speed. And this is our C. 3/4, 3/4. This is our O. Now the T, I'm sorry, the W I'm going to come back to because it's a difficult letter. So I'm going to put in 3/4 for our, oh, no. Now here's the one I want to change. The back of the B will go here, but I can't put the front of the B here. I have to come in to about here. You see that? Because the B has to have a spur on the top. I'll explain that in a minute. Here's my vertical. I'll leave my Y for now, explain that later. Here's B, 3/4 of an inch, and I got to come in again. 3/4, 3/4. Here's my, oh, I'm sorry, I should have brought these all the way down. I know I'm working fast, and we're going to go back and we'll review these at the end. So I'm going to put in my 3/4 for my O. 3/4 O, 3/4 for this O, 3/4 for this O. The T goes down the middle, I'll leave that. I'll put in my 3/4 for my S and 3/4 for my S. Now I know this is confusing, so I'm going to go back and review. When you do a cowboy or western letter,
It's a nice S.
these bars and branches that goes horizontal, they need to be equal and they need to be very thick. My rule, generally speaking, is a third, and a third. Everybody see that? A third, and a third. Because these are cramped together, I decided to make this a little more open. But generally, it's a third or a little less than a third, a little less than a third. You want this sometimes to be a little wider than these two. So what I'm going to go back now, I'm going to go back to my C. And what happens when a curve stroke goes over the guideline?
Slightly above.
It goes slightly above. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to go above, but I'm going to have a spur here. So I got to come like this. And I'm going to do the same at the bottom. And I'm going to bring this down. I'm going to have a spur here. I'm going to go slightly above, below that. And I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this.
I miss this so much, Doc. This is so much fun to watch you do this right now.
Yeah, it's really cool watching it come together for sure.
So now I have.
This is one of Doc's famous freaking examples.
So now, can you see that I've got my C?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do my O. Curve stroke goes around over the top. Curve stroke goes over the bottom. And we'll round these corners a little bit. So this is basically a Phoenix letter. Let's come back to the W. So we're going to do our B now. Our B gets rounded here, rounded here, rounded here, rounded here, and then it has a bar in the middle like this.
Doc, John Molina, I have a question.
Yeah, John.
Your horizontal bars, like in the middle of the B or like the little, yeah. How do you know how wide to make that?
They're the same as your vertical stems here.
Oh, okay. Got it.
So can you see the B now defined?
Yes, sir. Doc, do you justify the top or do you cheat a little?
What do you mean justify the top? I don't know what that means.
Oh,
Lamont, I don't know what
where
that means.
where the B would be? Question.
Oh, Doc. The first curve stroke. Yes. Up to the right. Yes, that lobe there.
It just comes down into your letter.
But it's a little bit inside of this letter block, right?
You mean, does it come to here?
Does it go over the line?
No, this is not a round stroke. There's no round stroke on the top and bottom of a B.
Heard. Thank you.
No, I'm talking about the side, Doc. At the top lobe of the B is usually smaller than the bottom lobe.
Oh, you're talking about this.
Yes, sir.
So you're saying this should come up a little. You're right. This is still the same thickness, 3/4, but this one needs to be bigger than that. That's what you're talking about.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Lamont. All right, now we have another O, slightly over the guideline. Slightly over the guideline. And I want you to remember, I'm doing this on a stucco wall with charcoal or on a cement wall.
No excuses.
All right, I'm gonna leave the T for now, and I'm gonna go do our next. Here's our space, which I'm telling you right now is too tight. I'm gonna make my B again. And we'll do as Lamont says, we'll move this a little bit above.
Not what I say. You the man.
So now we have our B. Let's do our O. Slightly over the guideline, slightly over the guideline. We'll round these corners. We have our O.
I just want to say something, Doc. These letters are really cool, man.
Well, they're just simple block Phoenix Western letters. They really have a feel of Western, don't they?
Yes.
He makes that shit look so easy.
Go
better.
I've been around graph writers, but this is something. This is better, man.
I'm going to leave the T for now. I'm going to do the S. So the S goes slightly over and then we're going to have, we do have a
we can't see, Doc. You're standing in front of it.
All right,
There
sorry.
you go. Thanks.
Thank you. We're going to do the S. We're going to round the top, but we need a little notch here. So it's going to come down like this. And this one's also going to come down. I'm going to round this. Whoops, I'm sorry. We're going to not round up to there. We're going to round it to here. So we have a little stem coming down. And then we have to put in our diagonal. So this goes, I'm going to put my diagonal like this. It's 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to round this, round this. I'm going to round this, round this, round this. Let's take out the inside of the S. And we're going to bring this down and this up. And we're going to bring this. Well, we have our S. We good? Now, with the T, what do we need to do with the T? It goes right down the middle here. I think Vanessa's doing her dishes and. So the-
Can't blame me for that.
This bottom thing does not be fully wide. It's got to be shorter than the top. Okay, so now we have our T in. So we have the word boots in. Can you see boots?
Yes,
It looks Western, yep.
yes.
Okay, we're gonna do our Y. What we need at the top of the Y is we need a block here, and we need a block here. And we need, just like this, we need a, so what we're gonna do now is we're going to do this. Make a center. And I know I'm going too fast for most of you, but I just want to make a point. I will pick the middle here, and then I will bring from the middle of the Y this, from the middle of the Y this, and the middle of the Y this. We good with our Y? Now we'll go to our W. We have to have 3 of these now. One on this side, one on this side, and one in the middle. We have to have 2 down here. And notice what am I doing? I am just doing what? Eyeballing. Because I've had experience at this.
Guesstimating.
Guess
No better. That's got to be the tightest W I ever seen.
These are too close. So I'm gonna make those a little bit wider.
Kareem, your mic is on.
Sorry.
Okay, there we have cowboy boots.
Wow.
Wow.
The problem is we don't
Good job,
have,
Don.
we don't have enough space in here. We will, if we don't have time today, we will, you all are going to draw letters either today or Monday morning, and I'll slow down, okay? I want you to see how I would lay out a wall directly on the wall at the site. No patterns, no nothing. So now I have cowboy.
Can you step back so we can see the whole thing?
Looks Western?
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I really like how that came together. It's
Professor,
crazy.
how did you find this lettering? Like, did you just kind of follow something, or did you just come up with it in your?
I put in my copy blocks like Carlos does. I put in.
Doc was born when they came out.
Let me answer her question. I put in my copy blocks. This is where the name is, Bubba's. And I decided wear cowboy boots because this is my emphasis. So I need to make it the biggest, the tallest, and the boldest thing on here. So I did that. And then I've got some other copy I want to put in down here. So I put in my copy blocks first, making sure this was the biggest one. Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
I think she's asking, do you reference that from somewhere, that alphabet?
Yeah, that was actually my question. I just didn't want to be rude.
Oh, did I reference it from somewhere?
Because if I look from far, I can see that it just looks like regular regular letters, but with a fat top and fat bottom, if that makes sense. I don't know much about letters, so.
When you're around me, don't use the phrase fat bottom, okay?
Sorry, my apologies.
That's all right. You know, I'm not really sure what the question is.
Like
Hold on.
where would you reference that type of alphabet? Like, I guess in a.
Oh, there's lots of font books.
Okay.
Carlos showed me a whole bunch of Western letters. Actually, he's gonna go get them and show you, we'll show you, but I learned to do this when I worked at the studios, because at the studios, we did a lot of Western saloons. We did so much Western shit, and you had to lay it out. We didn't have computers in those days. You had to lay it out right on the window, right on the front of the saloon, right there, and you had to lay it out, and you had to do it fast. So I learned this quick one at the studios.
Okay.
Now, with a letter like this, you can modify it. So we're going to bring this closer. Carlos is going to show you some of the reference material.
And so there's tons of reference. This is a Western alphabet here. It's a lot like Doc's. There's a few different little modifications, but the main thing is that it has a heavy top, heavy bottom. These have like little dips in the bottom of the blocks and tops. But basic idea is there. So you can look up like alphabet books and you're sure to find a nice.
Can you show the numbers on there, Carlos?
Say what?
Can you pick it up a little bit? See the numbers on, those numbers are killer right there too.
Carlos, can you send us that in the, can you put that in the Google?
Yeah, what
folder?
is that
Yeah.
from?
Please.
Perfect.
Maybe I want to put them. I don't know.
What do you mean? Even that one. Why did you keep all this stuff like?
Oh, that's nice.
I just found this, but
That doesn't mean, no, that's what? You just found this? Like,
I just found this reference. Somebody had it on.
Somebody donated some material and Carlos has been going through it. He just stumbled upon it.
all of that.
Man, good stuff.
But I don't want to give you everything.
Come on,
Why?
I got some stuff I'll share with you guys.
Yeah, please.
Oh, man.
All right, I'll copy these.
Nice.
It's a family, you're supposed to share.
I will.
Thank you, Carlos.
Sure.
Okay, Carlos is going to zoom in on some letters so I can show you the next step here. Again, I apologize for working fast, but I want you to get a sense of what I would do or Carlos would do out on a job. You don't mess around, you just keep moving. All right, so Carlos, I want you to, this is not a great, actually, this is not a great word to do this, but yeah, let's just come on in and take a look at this. What happens with, let's go to W, can you get the W real close, much closer? We got to get kind of straight on here. Okay, good. I'll try to work around this. So the first thing you can do is you can always put spurs on here like this. Everybody see that?
Do the spurs all need to be on
Yep.
the same plane? Should they all be justified or no?
Yeah, they should be justified, but
Oh,
you
the
know
Y can't be justified, right?
what?
The Y one can't be justified.
No, the Y one can't be justified. But you can see when I add spurs, it adds to it, right?
Yeah.
I can also do this. I can come in and make a little notch at the top.
Oh, better.
Oh, nice. So Doc, I have a comment. It's John Molina.
Yeah.
What I've been told in the past, and it might be common sense, but you, with Phoenix or with any alphabet like this, you draw your basic letters first or your basic structure, and then you come back in and add the spurs. You come back.
That's right. That's exactly right. You come back and embellish.
Yep.
But you see, this is adding another dimension, right? Yes?
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
It's just making the letters a little fancier.
Hey, Doc, it's Ray here. I think Juan and I are going to leave to get paper from you.
What time is it now?
It's 9:43.
Yeah, okay. You know where to go and pick it up?
Yeah,
It's in the parking structure on the first floor, yes?
off Olive.
Off Olive, across from the courthouse.
All right.
Can you please share the address in the chat?
I don't know the address over there.
As soon as you drive in, guys, I'll be on the right.
It'll
I'm
be on
on my
that,
way, Doc, Mr. Carlos.
it'll be on that first floor. They're having a food giveaway, so there might be a line of traffic. But Carlos or one, either Carlos or I will be on that first floor. If you get there and we're not there, wait, because we're still trying to clean up the classroom, okay?
Got it.
Okay.
Kind of food.
Yeah, what she said.
So you see how what we're doing here is we
I'm on
are
my way, Mr. Carlos.
we're embellishing this.
Okay.
All right, if you'll back up, Carlos. I'm not justifying these right now. I'm just, and if you get to a point where there's too crowded, you can't get them in, don't worry. You can always skip one.
Definitely has a Western look.
Would you do spurs on the S? I feel like I would just leave the S, but
Well,
I don't know.
Spurs in the middle like that.
can you show the S again? Thank you. All right, I like that. That's cool.
Okay, so now we have cowboy boots, right? Let's do our other copy. He wants to say Big Bubba's authentic cowboy boots. So here's where my copy block is going to go. And this is my margin line. Remember the margin line? That's where my copy has to start. But I want to put in authentic first. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to put in the word authentic. It doesn't have to be big, right? And what I will do is I'm going to space it out in just a Gothic. I'm going to wide space the I'm going to do wide letter spacing. Now I got to get Big Bubba's in here, and here's my guideline. I'm going to do this in a script. So I'm going to do and again, imagine me doing this on a wall. And I would do it this fast too.
I believe you.
Because I need to make money. I can't mess around here.
Can you teach us one day how to do that? What you're doing right now?
Do what?
Do what you're doing right now, like draw.
Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can
He
do
is.
it. The learning session will be about 10 years long though.
Yeah, that's amazing. That really is amazing. Wow. I can't believe it. What I'm saying.
Okay, Big Bubba's authentic cowboy boots, and then on the bottom here, we're going to put in some other information. He wants his phone number on this wall sign. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a panel down here. The phone number needs to be pretty big. So I'm going to make it pretty big because it needs to say cowboy boots and phone number. Now here's where my one panel goes, so I can't go any longer than that. Here's where my other panel goes, and I can't go any longer than that. So I'm going to make a Western panel where you chop the corners. If you think that I am, Carlos, can you grab that and show these corners here?
Yep.
Just real quick, I want to show you something here. Can you see how I'm just notching these corners so it looks more Western? Yes?
Yep.
Do they look exactly the same?
That we don't know because you're a little
Yeah,
bit far away.
really.
It does though.
This one
They
is
do.
bigger. This one is bigger than, and it's rough. I would lay this out on the wall, but when I come in with my brush, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna carefully make them look like the same.
No.
You understand? I don't need a tight pattern. I know that they're gonna have to match, so I'm roughing them in so I know where they go, and then I will clean them up with my brush.
Would that be something where the bottom one needs to be a little bit bigger too for the eye?
No, they should be equal.
Okay.
So I will put my phone number in here. And again, once I create this panel, I'm creating a mini sign. So the bottom margin has to be greater than the top margin. And you never want to crowd these panels. They're little mini signs. I'm going to make it bold, right? So I've got my phone number in now.
Amazing.
I have a big Courtney Love here, a big hole. The rule is no interior space greater than an exterior margin. Can you see this is much greater than my margins? We call this a Courtney Love. I'm going to show you how I would deal with that. Remember, I'm on the wall and I step back and I say, oh shit, that's way too wide. Am I going to erase everything?
No.
No. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go up here and I'm going to put in my side panels, and those panels have some other information in it. So I'm going to make some Western panels. I'm going to put them at a little angle. I don't want them too big and I don't want them to be too crowded to my lettering. So I've got to come up to my margin. So I'm going to make these kind of Western patterns like this. Now I might do these with what? A yardstick. That's got a kind of a Western flavor to it, yes?
Yes.
Let's do one at the other end. And because I want them to be the same, I can see this is justified with that top line. And I'm gonna come over and make a little mark so it's about the same at the other side. Am I still on the screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I need to make this one. Whoops. Use my yardstick here. And I need to make this one. And again, I'll put in my it's a little off center, but you get the idea. And I would take a little more time with these, making sure that these are straight. So now I have two copy panels where I can put in additional information. We good?
Yes.
Yes.
And I would, of course, when I wouldn't do this, I wouldn't draw this out. But when I go to brush this, I would brush this as a thin line, an outline. So this says, let's say, all sizes. I'm going to make all in a nice bold casual. And then I'm going to just take my yardstick and I'm going to put sizes in a nice little phoenix. And I'm going to do a little magic line here, and then I'm going to put styles in Phoenix.
How about men, women, and children? For men, women, and children on the other side.
Running out of room here, but I'll fix that with my brush. Okay, I'm going to step back and take a look. I'm still on the job site. What do you think?
Very nice.
Do you still have a Courtney Love going on above your phone number?
I do.
You also maybe want to move authentic to the right a little bit.
Yes. And will I change it on the wall? No. I'll just start to my right and start. I'll put the A where the U is. I'll put the U where the T is, and I'll just move it over. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to do two more things. Actually, I think I could sell this sign to the customer just as it is. Yes.
Yeah.
But I have a Courtney Love. Does the customer know I have a Courtney Love?
No.
No.
No. He loves the sign already. He or she, they say, oh, wow, it's great. I'm going to do a couple of other things here to go beyond this.
Great looking layout already.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to erase the bottom of my C. Whoops.
Hey, Doc Bugs here. Question real quick.
Yes.
Instead of bringing down letters, could you have put like maybe like a little silhouette in the bottom on the Courtney Love, like a little desert scene or something?
I'm sorry, what?
Could you, instead of the letters, could you just put like maybe like a little desert scene down there, like a little picture to
Yeah,
fill the Courtney Love in?
We're going to talk about that in just a minute, okay?
Okay. Okay.
Hold on just a second. Now, what do I have to do here? This diagonal has to come down. It's too tall, so it's got to go more like here now.
I see what you're doing now.
Well, all I did was I made the first capital larger, the C, and the last capital, the S, taller. I still have a Courtney Love, yes?
Yes.
Okay, some of the our old timers, the Olives, the Katies, the Kareems.
Put a rope in it.
There you go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a line that's going to go like this.
Rope-a-dope.
Whoops, that's a terrible line in the middle here.
What about a snake?
Even a couple little.
Snake in my boot.
Yeah, you could put some doodads or some triangles in there, but I'm going to do this. Let's make this go down onto the panel and go like this. Whoops, no, it's got to go through the leather. I still have a little bit of a Courtney Love here, yes?
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you think it's too close to the letters, like to the double O's?
No, I a lot of times I'll even overlap my rope.
Okay.
I'll go over the letters.
Could you just put a magic line underneath that part?
No, I just need to not make this swoop so much, just not make it quite so.
Yeah, magic line will kill the space though,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. But I'm just gonna, let's try not to make it so it comes in and gets the area a little bit more, okay? You get the idea, right?
Doc, that magic line, the lasso, like, would you paint it with like a lighter, a teeny bit darker color than the background? Or,
Are you talking about the rope?
yeah, the rope, the lasso.
No, I'm not talking about color now, but yeah, you'd have to have value contrast, right?
Yeah, so it's like
when I do a rope, I do it in a tan, one-shot tan.
Okay.
And then I use medium brown to detail the rope.
Okay, got it.
So Carlos is gonna come in and I'm gonna detail the rope so you can see when I get done what it looks like. But does everybody see how I kind of killed that space?
Yes.
Somebody mentioned a magic line. Can you show me or describe what that is?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, let's do. Let's take out the rope because it's not working for me. So let's take the rope out. And I'll show you how to do a rope in a minute, but let's take that rope out and go back to our Courtney Love. Everybody see it? Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So
Yes,
what I'm
sir.
gonna do now is I'm gonna put this magic line in here. And that kills that negative space. I should have brought it down lower, but I wanted to go through the letters. So the letters could have come down more, all right?
You can put a star. No, wait.
Little star or a little horseshoe.
Ah, horseshoe. Love that idea.
You guys know about a horseshoe should always be open at the top.
So the luck doesn't run out.
Yeah. If you ever have a horseshoe on the sign, make sure it's open at the top, not.
Okay, you see the magic line? It closes down that. Again, ideally, I would have moved it a little bit lower.
Oh, that looks cool.
There is a little bit of a negative space and a negative space up there. And again, that could be a graphic. I don't like stars. Sometimes I'll just put a graphic triangle like this.
That's cool.
What about spurs?
Well, I don't want to get too complicated here. I just want to give you guys an idea of how I would lay out directly on a wall. I think I'm done.
Sign-gasm.
Looks great.
And
That's
now I'm ready to paint. I'm ready to paint. I'm gonna bring this down here. Because I don't like the line to be that, touch the letter like that. So I'm gonna bring this down to here.
Doc, this is so fucking sick.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
It's just so fun to watch you do this. I cannot get over it.
Okay, so I'm ready to go ahead and letter on my wall. I'm gonna have Carlos. Can you focus up over here, Carlos, real quick?
Yeah.
So here's my rope. I learned this at the studios. I love this. So I would paint this tan. Val, you got it?
Yeah, got it.
I would paint this tan. I'll do a straight rope first. I would paint this tan, then I would use medium brown. So in order to make it look like a rope real quick, I'm going to do these little wave things. I'm just going to go like this.
Quick question. Would you paint the rope like tan even if you have like not a brownish like tone background color?
You know, whenever I do a wall sign, I make sure that I always work with a light background. So I may, this sign would probably have a cream color background.
Yeah, okay. You're right.
If it were a white wall, it would be fine. The tan would show up. But it doesn't matter about the tan because you're going to outline it in medium brown, Val.
Yeah.
Which is basically dark. Can everybody see how that turns it into a rope?
Yeah.
And it's just these little wave things. And they don't need to be consistent. Because a rope is not exactly. And then what I'll do is I'll put a little, you know how rope has little.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay.
Yep, got it. Thank you.
Whoa. I hope my chair is hooked in the. Any questions?
Doug, would you want to add convex and shadows and stuff like that? Outlines?
I could, but with the trouble with the narrow western ladder, it's already a little hard to read, and you could add convex, but those vertical thin strokes are very difficult to make the convex work.
You could probably do really wide spacing for a panic to kind of fill the space without making the letters bigger.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to go back and pick nits here because this is literally how I would lay out a wall and paint. When I actually painted, I would make sure everything is dead straight and clean. But this is a good enough. Carlos, could you letter this on a wall from this?
Yeah, it's a great layout.
I mean, could you letter from the roughness of the pattern?
Yes, yeah. The only thing would be just making those two panels the same. That would be the only thing I would kind of.
Well, let me tell you about that. The one on the right is smaller than the one on the left, but it's okay. If you wanted them the same size, you'd take some measurements, right?
Yeah, that's all.
You just take some measurements and move those measurements to the other side.
You could definitely letter that for sure.
Yeah. All right. How long did that take, do you think?
Like 45 minutes?
We started at 9, so it's been about an hour.
About an hour. And I work fast. Because I wanted you to see how I actually work on the job site. This is how you make money. You make money by doing these. Don't mess with patterns. Just get it laid out. Do it as fast as you can. Now, where's all my time going to go?
Brushing.
Brushing cleanly. Now I'm going to take my time. This actually is a 2-day job because I have 3 panels to paint. So I would paint the 2 end panels and the phone number panel, the very first thing. And then I would start on doing as much lettering as I could. After I did the lettering, I would come back the next day and I would redraw onto those panels. In fact, the first day I wouldn't even lay out the lettering. Why do it? You're just going to coat it in paint, right?
Yeah, Doc, I have a quick question.
Yes.
It's Justin. So you would have painted the background color first and then did this with chalk with the lettering.
This would have been a cream panel or whatever the customer's wall is.
Right. Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. There is one. Kareem brought up a good point. There is one last thing that I might do. I might put a shade on it. But see, the letters are really close. What do you think, Carlos?
Yeah, shade pops it a little bit.
I agree. I think the shading looks good.
We'll talk more about shades, guys. The shade should be it's a little darker than the background. You don't want it to take away from the legibility. I always like to shade to the field, to whatever background I have, just a darker shade.
Yeah, a darker shade.
Wait, a darker
Hey, Carlos,
background?
Bugs.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Hey, Carlos, on that shade though, you don't want it too thick. It'll kind of throw the letters off center, right?
You will have a lecture on shading later in the semester, and
Okay.
We'll talk to you about the weight, okay? And the
good.
value and all that. We'll promise we will give you a whole thing on that.
Yeah, we'll be having a lecture on, we do 3 different shades. We'll have a lecture on the type of shades and the value. And yeah, I guess the weight of the shade as well.
Okay, we're done here.
Doc, Kareem here. Would you want to do a quick thumbnail sketch before you attack the wall?
I might do a thumbnail. And I don't know why we can't get this camera centered.
Yeah, I have a question about the panels
Yes.
and painting them. So, okay, so you draw your design on the wall and then you want to paint the panels, right? The background first. But then what do you do in the panels with the font? Like, because you would paint over that, right? To get the solid color behind the font.
Are you talking here?
Yeah, like, so I'd imagine when you go to your job, I'm imagining you sketch it out and then you need to paint the blocks of color that the text goes on top of.
The first day, I wouldn't even draw this in.
You wouldn't? Okay.
I would paint these and come back the second day and draw them in once this paint is dry.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay, what time is it, Carmen?
It is 10:11.
Oh, yeah, we're good. We're gonna move back out to the main room. Give us just a few minutes, okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's mute.
Great layout. Great layout.
And these guys is why I signed up for Sign Graphic.